Hello everyone, this is Shaurodeep, and this is my fourth video on MATLAB. And in this video, we would be um, learning how to print the series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this series starts with 1 and then adds 1 to the first term to get the second term, then adds 1 to the second term to get the third term, and then adds 1 to the third term to get the fourth term, and so on. This is the algorithm for the series. So let's start off by trying to print the numbers in the series using manual logic. So we first set the first term of the series to I. So I is equal to 1. We have to print the first term of the series manually because that's the starting point. So we press enter and the first term gets printed. So we know that there's a difference of 1 between the first term and the second term. So we have to add 1 to the first term to get the second term. So we do I is equal to I plus 1. So we get the second term, okay, which is 2. And then there's a difference of 1 between the second and the third term. So we do I, so I has the value 2 right now, stores the second term. Okay, so we do I is equal to I plus 1 to get the third term, which is 3. So I is now 3. So I stores the third term of the series. The second and first term have already been printed, so we don't need to worry about them. So our task is to print the fourth term. So we add 1 to the third term. I is equal to I plus 1. So we get the fourth term. Okay. And then we add 1 to the fourth term to get the fifth term. When we then add 1 to the fifth term to get the sixth term, which is 6. Okay. And then we repeat this process. Okay, we repeat this process. I is equal to I plus 1. We get the eighth term. I is equal to I plus 1. Sorry, that was a mistake. So anyways, you get the hang of it. So we continuously add 1 to I at every step. Okay, so you see these um, statements are repeating. I'm continuously writing I is equal to I plus 1 at every step. So at every step, the value of I increases by 1 to print the next term of the series. Okay, it takes the previous term in the series and then adds it by 1. Takes the previous term in the series and then adds it by 1 to get the next term, which is 6. Does the same thing in the next um, line and does the same thing in the line after that. So we have a repeatable statement. So there's a logical operation in MATLAB called loops. So loops help us to um, repeat the same statement over and over again until a certain condition is met. So we would be doing just that. Okay. So we first set I is equal to 1, which is the first term in the series. Then we set I is equal to I plus 1. Okay, we haven't finished yet right now because this would only print 1 and 2. Okay, so we press run, change folder. So we've only printed the first and second term on the series. So where are the rest of the terms? We have to add the repeatability of these statements. We have to add logic so that this statement is repeated over and over again. Okay, so how do we do that? So we write while I is less than 11. Okay, I'll come to this later on. And then we write end. What happens? Initially, we have I is equal to 1, so 1 gets printed. Next, we come to this statement, while I is less than 11. It checks if the value of I is less than 11. At this point, I is equal to 1. So it has the printed only the first term of the series. And then it checks if I is less than 11. So it sees that I hasn't yet reached um, 10, which is the last term of the series. So there's still more numbers to be printed. So the statement inside while should be such that it signifies the end of your project. So our project here is to um, print all the numbers starting from 1 to 10. So since I stores the numbers from 1 up till 10, increasing by 1 at each step. So I indicates um, the end of the loop, which means that the value of I is indicative of whether um, the loop should uh, stop or continue. So if I is 5, we know that we have printed only 5 terms, so the loop should continue. So we should instruct that to the loop. So I is less than 11. When I is 5, it's less than 11. So the loop would run again. And then in the next iteration, it would add 1 to 5, which would make it 6. And then it would add 1 again, which would make it 7. Then in the next iteration, it would add 1 to make it 8, 9. And when I becomes 10, it still enters the loop. But then when I is 10 and then 1 is added to 10 to make it 11, it comes to the while statement once again. And I see, and while the while statement sees that I is actually 11, it's not less than 11, it is 11. So since this particular condition is not met, the loop exits. Okay, so I'll just show you that right now. So I click on run. So as we can see that I is first 1, in the second iteration I is 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so why is I is equal to 11 also printed? So what happens is when I changes to 11, that happens inside the loop. Okay, so that's why it's printed. Um, so when it goes back to the while statement, it checks that I is actually 11. So 11 is printed in the last and final step. So um, that's about it. Check with me in the next video.